I feel like a lot of times when people travel, they maybe go to their hotel restaurant or they go to a place that's only in a guidebook. And not that those are bad experiences, but giving yourself the freedom to just stop and see something random or experience something that isn't in a guidebook or isn't recommended by your hotel concierge is what's so great.
What is it like spending over half the year traveling the globe? Well, this couple knows. Meet Justine and Keith. They're on a mission to visit every country in the world while building a journalism-focused travel brand.
So everyone in my immediate family has done a lot of traveling and a lot of living abroad. Just seeing so many people in my family going and having incredible experiences around the world made me want to go out there and do the same for myself. I know my husband has always had so much fun traveling as well.
Hi, I'm Keith Feldman. I'm a TV news photographer for a station here in New York City.
And I'm Justine Miller, and I'm a TV reporter and photographer at a news station here in New York City as well.
And together we'll be traveling to the Caucasus for 16 days.
Specifically to Azerbaijan and Georgia.
I got a leave of absence from work, and that enables me to take up to 7 months off every year.
And luckily, I'm technically freelance, so when we found out that Keith could go ahead and travel this long, I was like, let's do it.
This region is known as the Caucasus, a mountainous landscape between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, made up of countries like Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan.
You know, it's right at the crossroads of Europe and Asia. It has such a mixture of cultures with influences from Russia and Turkey and so many other places.
The U.S. government cautions against traveling to both Georgia and Azerbaijan as of February 2022. Check travel.state.gov for updates on travel advisories. Keith and Justine's trip took place in August of 2021 after tourism in the region was severely impacted by COVID-19. And the countries face new challenges with conflicts in surrounding areas. In Azerbaijan, $1 comes out to around 1.7 manat, and in Georgia, $1 is about 3 Georgian lari.
Your money goes a lot farther than it would in other countries.
Keith and Justine have a unique approach to travel that helps them find balance with spending.
Sometimes we'll stay in a super luxurious place or we'll do a very expensive activity, but then other times we'll do something really cheap. So we'll have 50-cent street food, we'll walk somewhere instead of taking a car, we'll stay at a place that's $7 a night, sleeping outside, right, sleeping in a hut.
Using their Chase Sapphire Reserve credit card points, Keith and Justine got $55 business class tickets.
When researching the flights over to Azerbaijan, I came across this really great Lufthansa Boeing 747. They're not around too much longer.
The majority of the flight budget went towards 2 $1,500 return flights from Georgia. The couple stayed at 5 places in Azerbaijan and 8 in Georgia. Justine is a major history buff, so one of her favorite stays was a $30 a night hotel in Azerbaijan. This hotel was a common stop for Silk Road traders as early as the 17th century.
It was the Sheki Caravanserai Hotel that used to be an actual stop on the Silk Road. And Silk Road traders going between Europe and Asia would actually come and sleep in the exact rooms. So it leaves a little bit to be desired, but you have all the essentials: toilet, sink, shower, not too bad.
Another budget-friendly experience was a $16 a night homestay with an Azerbaijani family, which the couple found on Booking.com.
Because we like to really get out into the countryside and meet people, we decided to do a homestay when we were in Azerbaijan to see what real life was like. So this is where we slept last night, in this room in the Airbnb. And these are the sheets that aren't sheets. They're actually like thick tablecloths.
Georgia stays were a bit more expensive, with Justine's favorite hotel costing $360 per night.
So in Tbilisi, the capital of Georgia, we wanted to stay in kind of a fun and kind of cool hotel. So we stayed at the Stamba, which is actually an old Soviet printing press. And it was fun to stay in such a fancy place, get dressed up.
Keith and Justine learned firsthand how rich the Caucasus are in natural resources.
Azerbaijan has a huge amount of oil. I think they're ranked around 20th in the world. So they have a big reserve of oil driving throughout the country. We took an oil bath, like actual crude oil.
The couple underwent a routine medical check before jumping in.
It's slippery. It's oily, but I guess that makes sense. I don't know if I would do it again.
After their crude oil spa treatment, the couple thought it was time to try out something more organic.
Azerbaijan has more mud volcanoes than anywhere else in the world. It's like a cold, weird, bubbly mud that you can actually get into. So that was interesting.
Bubbles from methane, actually.
So first our driver had us wash off in this lake thing here, which was also just as muddy. And then he set up for us this little shower area. Shower time.
When researching activities in Georgia, local food and wine were front and center.
When I was researching Georgia, I came across their wine region, which I didn't know too much about before, but they've actually been growing grapes there, I think, for more than 8,000 years. The one place we found in Tbilisi is the Deserter Bazaar, which actually got its name from soldiers who were deserting from the army back in the 1920s, and they would go there to sell their weapons and gear. Now it's mostly fruits, vegetables, a few other things you can buy there.
The food throughout the region was budget-friendly. The couple's most expensive meal was $100 total and included 2 bottles of wine. Otherwise, they indulged in plenty of affordable local options.
I think one of my favorite meals in Azerbaijan is one that we had a few times, which was just pulling over on the side of the road at these little doner kebab stands, and they were so good.
And
right?
cost $1.
So good.
They also found fresh roadside corn on their way to the coast.
Just as we pulled up, the car that delivers the corn also pulled up. This is all the corn in the trunk. And then the guy was so nice that he brought us corn, put it in our car here. So in Georgia, the food has a little bit of a Russian kind of spin to it. One of my favorite dishes in Georgia were the khinkali. They're kind of like a soup dumpling. They're so good. We found this one place where you sit kind of in a back garden patio, woodsy location, and they just brought plates and plates of these dumplings.
Perfect. It holds the soup in the dumpling.
While driving in the Georgian countryside, Justine also spotted one of her favorite foods.
They had this jar of pickles. They were like the equivalent of 30 cents. And it was one of the best pickles I've ever had in my life.
The couple booked 2 $100 flights between Azerbaijan and Georgia and rode a train out to the countryside from Tbilisi. But otherwise, Keith and Justine took transportation into their own hands.
We rented a car in both countries to drive around. We usually like to do that when we travel. One thing that was challenging was the language barrier. I speak some Russian, so speaking Russian to a lot of people did help. So when you're driving, there's not always a great bathroom to stop in, oftentimes a gas station or whatever you can find. So this is what we have today. Not the best, but make do with what we got.
Keith and Justine will start another 7-month journey in 2022, and they're looking forward to publishing more stories about their travels.
So once I get to all the countries in the world, I'm going to keep going back and traveling as much as I can to all the other places I haven't visited in each one of those countries. As a journalist, I want to just keep telling stories around the world of all the places and people I encounter, trying to learn so much more for myself and share all those stories with everyone else.